See. I'm finding it a little bit more challenging at home to get the right camera angle. That should be good right there. Okay, so just settle into a comfortable seat. Close your eyes. So really allow yourself to ground down into your sits bones so you feel some connection to some solid space underneath you. So a rooting sensation, nice and heavy through the legs. And from that feeling of weightiness towards the earth and connection to the earth, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And as you gently, so it's very little effort that you need to make, just think about the crown of the head reaching gently up towards the sky. You'll feel a very small drop of the chin, so it's not tucking in, but that just lengthens the back of the neck. And lots of space now from root to crown. Once you have your body settled into position, you might even want to take a few gentle movements side to side or just the tiniest little circles around just to get settled and make sure that you feel really comfy before you find that still space. Let the shoulders soften away from the ears. And finding that flow of breath that is already moving through you. And you've anchored yourself in your physical body, you're in your seat. And now anchoring that mental, emotional body into the breath. If that sounds a little strange or you don't quite understand that concept, there is no separation between body and mind. So you notice sensations in the physical body. You arrange yourself into your best possible seat, supported. So the physical body feels supported and the mind can kind of let that go. The mind's job is really to think, and it's almost impossible to completely release from thinking. That you wouldn't want to. That's the job of the mind. But you can anchor the mind into something that is beautiful and peaceful. In this case, we're anchoring the mind in the breath. You're putting all of your focus and attention on that flow of breath, that river of prana, your life force, your energy that is flowing through you. No need to change it in any way, just feeling that flow, gentle movement on the inhalation, sensation in the nostrils. And the gentle flow out on the exhalation. Feel yourself empty. These thoughts, these emotions, feelings, they are just passing through really momentarily. Even when we are in a funk for a little bit longer, days even, that's such a small moment in time. And as we connect into something bigger, more permanent, is this breath. And the mind starts to follow the pattern of the breath. In this case, natural, smooth, calm, even. Dropping into something a little bit greater. And now watch what happens as you start to lengthen and deepen the breath. The mind has to concentrate there. So nice and easy, smooth from bottom down low in your belly, all the way up the front line of your body into the top of your lungs, filling yourself up completely. Allow the mind to watch this process happening, filling yourself up and then emptying yourself out, feeling a contraction of your lower abdominal pelvic floor muscles to empty the breath completely. And taking a few rounds of breath this way. You are controlling now the movement and flow and direction of breath in your body consciously, filling up and emptying out. Inhale blossoms out of the pelvis, rising up through the body, up and underneath the collarbones and into the throat. And the exhalation comes from a place of strength. So you feel the strength at your roots, pelvic floor, lower abdominal muscles as you assist the breath's exit. One more time, these full yogic breaths, consciously filling up and consciously emptying out. And just going back to that natural breath, take a scan of body, mind, thoughts, emotions, feelings. Notice if there are any changes, maybe just even from that few moments of focus on that big pool of something greater, this prana, this breath. The mind has started to calm itself a bit. Maybe there's still some racing thoughts and you just notice. And take a deeper, fuller breath. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. 2 more times, cleansing breaths, filling up. Emptying out. Last one. And gently blink the eyes open. Okay, so we're going to do some Kapalabhati breathing now. And I want you to note this calm state of body and mind from the style of breathing that you were doing. And then we'll check back in for the changes once we have completed this more energizing, this stronger clearing breath. The mudra that we'll be using today, well, we'll be using 2 different ones. On the strong breathing part, your arms will be reaching up with the fingers curled in and the thumbs will be pointing up towards the ceiling. So if you can't see my hands in the screen, I'm going to lower them for a moment. And the shoulders are nice and relaxed. We'll take some breaths there and we'll talk about those breaths in a moment. I know everyone who's joining on the video this morning is familiar. You're going to reach your arms up and overhead once I instruct you. This will be on your inhale retention, hooking the thumbs. So you've taken a full inhale and you hold, chin tucks down, feeling that length in the back of the neck, and you hold for as long as you can. Everyone will be a little bit different, but when you need to exhale, you'll release, the arms will sweep down, the shoulders will relax. You'll feel lots of space here in the neck and shoulders, and you just simply pause to watch any changes in energy, any movement of energy in the body. Okay, and the breathing is that emphasis on the exhalation. So as you take a strong exhale through the nose, the belly pulls in, and then you just release the belly, and there's a reflexive inhale that comes. And so just remember, put all emphasis on the exhalation, and you will be just fine. That'll be a nice steady rhythm. And I'm going to do a demonstration with my hands on my knees. Just for the breathing technique, it looks like this. And we want to stay slow and steady like that as we go. All right, so inhale, reach your arms up, curl the fingers in, and then the thumb points up. Exhale, sigh it out. And slow and steady will begin. Good, you're gonna inhale now, stretch up, hook the thumbs. This is where you hold the breath in. So you're holding with full lungs and you hold in for as long as you can. Chin tucks down towards the throat. The arms are stretching really long. This creates a lot of space up and behind the shoulders, the armpits, the length of the arm, the back of the neck. Holding with the full lungs. So you filled yourself and now you're holding there. And you're gonna stay as long as you can. Feel that heat rising up. Feel all of that energy there up and underneath the collarbones. And you hold for as long as you can, but when you need to release, the arms will sweep down. Take your time. If you're still holding, enjoy that. It feels good. Once you have released, your hands will be resting on your knees, the eyes will be closed, and you simply notice. So one of the things that we can observe here is that we say, so is the body, so is the mind. So when your body is open and strong, and the mind tends to follow that feeling as well. It's not universal, but in general terms. Just like when you're really sleepy, it's hard to think. And when you're overstimulated, the thoughts race. And here you're sitting in a very nice balance. There's lots of energy. The breath has helped to clear space in the body and to let energy rise up. And so the mind is alert, but calm. And blink the eyes open. When you're inhalation, reaching up, thumbs point up. Exhale out through the mouth. Slow and steady will begin. Good, releasing Kapalabhati. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Hold the breath in as you hook the thumbs, tuck the chin down. Really long and tall. You're stretching long through the spine, long through the arms. Feel that open space up both sideways. Nice big open space in the underarms, the length of the arms. This is going to help to stimulate the lymphatic system. Clearing out that fluid that can just kind of stagnate there if we're not active. And this is really getting that moving, especially there in the space of the arms. You hold for as long as you can. Eyes can turn up to the space between the eyebrows. And when you need to release, the arms will circle down and come to rest on the knees and take a few moments of observation, body and mind. We want our yoga to work in our modern times. This is an ancient practice. But if it doesn't translate to our modern life, then we might as well put it in a pretty box and let it be on a shelf. So I want you to notice that there are changes that take place as you go through your practice. The mind calm and alert, the body opening up, waking up. And that river of prana, your life force, really feel that now flowing through. Open the eyes. If you're sitting up on something, it depends on how cushy it is, because we're going to be folding forward. So you may need to, if you're sitting on something bigger than a folded blanket, move that off to the side. From this cross-legged position, if you have a blanket or even a block, that's something nice to put out in front of you as you fold forward for support. And where you're going to be feeling a stretch is in one or both of the hips. And you want, again, to think lengthen the spine and softening the eyes. There's no need to flex or contract any muscles here. You're just lengthening forward through the heart center and noticing sensation and stretch in the hips. You can close your eyes and even turn the eyes up towards the third eye point or the midbrain as you breathe here. But just keep the breath smooth and steady now. Have that nice river of prana, of chi already flowing through. And if you start to feel a lot of sensation, you're really riding your edge here, and the sensation in the hips and the sacrum, then take a stronger direction of breath into the places that feel sticky or tight. What that looks like is imagining, using your mind's eye, to imagine the lungs stretching, reaching into the places that feel challenged. So in this case, it might be your hips. We know the lungs can't actually stretch down into the hips, but as you use visualization and intention, you're going to create the sensation that the lower back is inflating, the hips are inflating. Sending your prana, your chi, into the places that feel challenged. Where the mind goes, energy flows. So using this tool of your mind to create space, create a flow of energy into the places that need it. If you find that you get some new space that opens up for the last few breaths here in this forward fold, you could take whatever you had, if you had anything under your forearms, and release it, getting the chest a little closer to the legs. That's completely up to you and your body. And now walking yourself back up. Take a breath in. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. And now twisting over to the left, you can take something like a block or a book or a bolster if you want something to rest your forearms on. So we're creating a twist, side stretch, and also some sensation in the hip. So you might not be able to go all the way down to the floor, but maybe you can. So you find a place that feels really supported and good for you. And then once you have yourself twisting over to the left, just soften the head, neck, and shoulders, and you're gonna stay. Spending just about a minute here. And already you might be feeling lots of sensation in the right hip, right side waist. So remember, you can always back off if you need to. Kind of just ride that river of sensation using your breath to help get you through. Or if you do get some release, you can always adjust to go a little deeper, listening to your body. If you try to remain still and sit in this sensation, you can become even more present to the movement of breath in the body. So physical body may be still, that energy body, prana, is still moving, flowing. Walking yourself slowly back up. Moving slowly as you come in and come out of these deeper stretches. You can bring your prop, if you're using one, back to the front of your mat, lean back, and then change the cross of your legs. So you're going to go to the way that you don't normally cross. We have that habitual tendency to go only one way. And then, yeah, wiggle around a little bit, find your sitting bones. Now, once again, folding forward. So that should create sensation, a little more sensation in the opposite hip than you were feeling before. And I know for me, it always feels when I take that opposite cross that I normally do, it just feels a little bit awkward. So just noticing all of these little things, and then redirecting attention to breath. Directing prana, chi into the places that really need it. So you imagine the lungs reaching into those places, opening up space. You spend a few more moments here. You can choose to back off or go a little deeper, listening to the sensations in the body. Slowly beginning to walk back up. Once you're in the upright position, pause for a moment, deeper breath. And exhale, sighing out. Now twisting over to the right. So bring a little support if you need it. The arms can be very straight if you have a lot of sensation in the spine, the lower back, and hips. Or you can fold a little bit deeper. In this position, feel free to soften the head, neck, and shoulders a little bit. Keeping the left sitting bone nice and heavy towards the floor. And allow yourself to settle into sensation. Opening up the space on left side body, and ribs, stretching and opening. Breathe into the places that need some support. Slowly beginning to walk yourself back up. Turning back towards center. Completely up to you. If you want to stay in the cross that you're in, you can, or you can switch again. And now bringing the hands to the shins, you're going to inhale and lengthen. On the exhalation, just lean forward a little bit, and you're just going to circle around. Just circling around, spine stirring in the pelvic bowl, moving around the hips. This nice, slow, and easy movement will help to loosen up the space of the sacrum. There's really no right or wrong way, just anything that feels good. Just circling around, you can make your circles small or large. And turning back to center, take a moment to pause. You're going to feel that little bit of spinning energy remains. Just pause for a moment. Breath in and out. And lengthening through the crown of the head, leaning forward a bit, and start those circles in the opposite direction. Just circling out and around, letting that feel really good in the whole of the spine, especially down towards the sacral area, tailbone. You make your way back to center, and again, pausing just to allow any spinning sensation to settle. Next, inhale, stretch and reach the arms up. And you're going to bring the right fingertips to the back of the shoulder and take the left hand to the right elbow and just gently stretching the right elbow up towards the ceiling. The shoulders stay soft, so you're not hunching here. That just releases down the back, stretching out through the right tricep, and you'll feel like in that opening through the underarm area. And now as you lengthen the right arm back up, you can keep the left hand right where it is. It's going to go towards the right ear, and take the right hand down to the floor. And now gently stretching left ear towards left shoulder. So you're not pulling with the left hand. It's just a gentle guidance of the left ear towards the left shoulder as the right fingertips settle on the floor out to the right. And you can make some little movements here. Just gently lower the chin and lift. Maybe even circling, just very small circles of the chin, or you can hold static. It's completely up to you. Just do what feels best for this gentle release in the neck. And sliding the left hand, left fingers to the left temple, and use the fingers to assist the head back up to that neutral position. Reaching up on inhalation, nice big stretch. And then bringing the left fingertips to the left shoulder blade, reaching the right hand to the left elbow, really long through both sides waist. You're going to just gently guide the left shoulder towards the ceiling and maybe a little bit back. Feeling the stretch in the left side tricep now. Under the arm, left shoulder. And keeping the right hand where it is, release the elbow, bring the left fingertips down to the floor, and then gently guiding right ear towards right shoulder. And once you're over there, remember you're not forcing or pulling in any way, just some small movements if you like. Sometimes the static stretching can feel just a little bit heavy or stuck. So if you feel that way, especially here in the neck, Just making some micro movements, dropping the chin down and lifting it back up. Or sometimes a little, like you're drawing a circle with the point of your chin can feel really nice for creating some space and release. If you prefer to hold in stillness, that's wonderful as well. Just breathing into anything that feels tight. Now sliding the right hand over to the right, use the fingers at the temple to gently bring the head to center. And then again, reaching up with both arms, feel all that nice space and the length of the arms and the shoulders as you inhale, and on exhale, hands to heart center. And keeping the hands at the heart, just twisting over to the right, long spine. Coming back to center as you inhale. Really lift the chest up towards the thumbs. And on your exhale, twisting over to the left. Coming back to center. One more time, twisting right. Coming back to center, breathing in, and then twisting to the left. Coming back to center. And it's a very different sensation, isn't it, when you aren't using your hands to help pull you into the twist. A little bit more of a muscular sensation. Releasing the hands now and releasing the legs. You've been sitting for quite a bit of time, so you might want to keep the knees bent and rub out through the knees a little bit, maybe even the calves before you go to straighten the legs. And once you do have the legs straight, definitely shaking through the knees. Make sure you release any tension behind the knees. And a little circling around of the feet at the ankles feels good to release space behind the knees, the calves, off those little cricks and cracks. Good, and then come back to the center position and then point the toes and flex the feet. So we're really working through now, back side as you flex and the front side as you point. And working the calves and then the muscles around the shins. Let's do that a couple more times just to get blood flow, energy back into the legs and the knees. Good. All right, from here, you can swing the legs around and then come on to hands and knees. Remember to pad your knees if you need with a thin blanket. But once you have found your way to hands and knees and feel comfortable, hands will be planted under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and taking some cat and cow. And just let these feel really good for releasing anything that may have come up from the longer sit and those stretches that really targeted into the sacral area and the hips. On your inhalation, you'll let your belly drop and your chest lift. Find a pause at the top of the inhalation. And then exhaling, emptying out, draw the belly in and up. Find a pause at the bottom of the exhalation, holding empty for a couple seconds. And just continue to flow through cat and cow. Let this really feel like it's opening space on the front side of the body on your inhalation. And on the back side of your body on your exhalation. Taking one final round, really emphasizing the pause. And coming back to a neutral spine. And again, we're going to focus on loosening up the legs from that longer sit in the beginning. So stretch the right foot behind you, press through the sole of the foot, circle out at the ankle. A few circles in one direction and then change. And then coming back to stillness in the foot, bending at the knee, and do the same thing at the hip, circling around in one direction. And then change directions, loosening that space of the hip. And come back to that stillness, press back through the sole of the foot, inhale, get nice and long. And on the exhale, returning to cat, but this time the knee pulls into the nose, rounding through the upper back. Do that 2 more times, pressing through the sole of the foot, feel that energy in the back of the leg, and then bringing the knee in, drawing the belly in and up, feeling the energy at the belly. Last time, breathe in, stretch back, and on your exhalation, pull in, round. And setting the right knee down, any natural movements that arise that the body would like for releasing. It might look like circling the rib cage around or circling at the tail. And then come on back to center, and we'll take the left side. So we're going to press back through the sole of the left foot, and then start to circle at the ankle, circling around in one direction. And then changing directions. And really feel that activating the back of the leg. Back to stillness in the foot, and then bend the knee and take those circles to the hip. All those little attachments loosening up. Some good mobility in that space as you take the opposite circle. Coming back to stillness, press through the sole of the left foot. Breathe in, get really long for the leg. And as you breathe out, rounding through the upper back, knee pulls it into the nose. 2 more times. Breathing in, getting long, and breathing out, pulling in. Last time. And then letting the left knee come down to the floor and heading into your favorite variation of child's pose. So that might be knees together with the bottom back on the heels, or you may prefer to have the knees wide or a little bit more space for the belly to move through. And then the arms could either be forward or they could be back behind you. So finding your variation, maybe a little support even under the forehead if you feel like you need it, and then settle in for some stillness and breath. And so allowing the body to feel heavy towards the ground. Reconnecting to the energy of the earth as you really settle in, melting the body down into the floor, and beneath the floor, the earth. Smooth and even breaths. And take a nice big breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. And if your arms are behind you, you can walk them forward now and returning to hands and knees. We'll be taking a pose that's called quarter dog. But before we go into that, I want you to try downward facing puppy. So reaching the hands ahead, stretching the chest back towards the thighs, just like you would for downward facing dog. The tailbone is pointing up towards the ceiling, and the head is lifted off of the ground. So you're getting a lot of length through the spine, stretching chest back towards the thigh. And you're just gonna walk yourself up a little bit so you're not quite as long, and then put the forearms down onto the floor. The elbows are in line with the shoulders, but not, they're forward of the shoulders. So
In other words, they're not wide and pointing out to the side, but they're not in really close to the body either. So a little bit forward, and then rotating at the left elbow. So the left hand holds onto the right elbow, and then you're going to just press yourself back and sink back chest to the floor. So there's going to be the weight of the body that is sinking the heart down towards the floor, and the sensation is going to start to build, maybe up and into the left shoulder. You might feel that through the rib cage. Just sink in, settle in. Notice where the sensation arises, and then breathe into the sensation. This is stimulating connective tissues in the shoulders, rib cage, the fascia, the ligaments, the tendons. But you'll also notice that there's a big stretching sensation in the area of the armpit. And you may know that there are a lot of lymph nodes in that space, and so this is very stimulating for that lymphatic system there. Very important to keep that moving, because the lymph fluid is what picks up all of the yucky stuff in our body that we don't really want. The bacteria, the viruses, the things of that nature. It's like the little garbage collector for your body. We want to keep that moving through, flowing through, eliminating those things, not allowing that to stagnate. Just another couple breaths here. And slowly lifting head. You can release the left hand back down to the ground, and then slide the hands back. Press into the hands so that you're activating the arms. And then once you're up, maybe anything that you like for counter movement, but maybe it feels good to sit into hero's pose. So you can roll through the shoulders a little bit, or move the head side to side so you're feeling some release in the neck. You might even like to bring the fingertips to the shoulders and circle around, but really listen to your body. Maybe you need stillness, and child's pose is calling your name. Taking all the time that you need to counter the pose and let sensation release. When you feel ready, you'll take the opposite side, no rush. Moving to hands and knees when you're ready. The hands come a little bit forward, and then the forearms down to the ground. And this time rotating the right hand to the left elbow, and then letting yourself move into that shape of downward facing puppy. So the chest moves back a little bit, but then it sinks down towards the floor. I'm gonna move to the side for a little bit different view. And in that heaviness, as the heart is just melting down towards the floor, that sensation starts to build, stimulating the connective tissue on the opposite side. Breathe into resistance, breathe into sensation. Then pushing down into the forearms so the chest lifts. Take the right hand back to the floor. Really press into the palms to straighten the arms. So you're reactivating the muscles as you walk the hands back. And then taking a few moments to release that sensation. So you could sit and just watch that process happen in the body in stillness, or you could move in any way that feels good for releasing. And then once you have released properly from that sensation, walk yourself forward. And then you're going to curl your toes under and sit back onto the heels. So another pose that works on opening up connective tissue, this time in your feet, can be very intense, so you might only be here for a breath or two. You'll likely feel that as well up into the Achilles, maybe even going all the way up into the calves. Big stretch through the toes, the ball of the foot, or both feet, I should say. Using your breath. Now remember, if it's only 1 or 2 breaths that you can stay here, that's totally fine. I'm going to stay for just a few more seconds, but you release from the pose when your feet are ready. Last breath. And slowly bringing the weight back forward. You're going to uncurl the toes and then tap your feet on the floor. So just taking that counter, tapping the feet, letting that sensation release from soles of feet, from Achilles, from calves. And then taking the body side to side. And then you're going to start to make full circles with the ribs. So you're rotating the ribs around with the barrel, bringing the ribs over to the left, and then rounding to cat, over to the right, and then belly dropping. There's no right or wrong way, just moving around. Come back to center for a moment, take a breath. And then take the opposite direction that you were rotating. Coming back to center, and now you have the option for downward facing puppy or downward facing dog. So sometimes after those big yin stretches and working on the connective tissue, reconnecting to musculature feels really good. So you can try that, curling the toes, lifting the hips up and back, coming to downward facing dog. But if that feels like too much, remember you can always have the knees on the floor. So if you have chosen down dog, once you're up there, just move around a little bit. Get some dynamic movement in, bending the knees, one and then the other, moving the hips side to side, whatever feels good. Once you're ready to come to stillness, you can come center, take your time. Let your knees bend and really get the chest moving back to the thighs. So now you're establishing lots of length through both side waists. You can come down and rest at any time. If you're still feeling good, you might like to extend a leg, circle around a little bit at the ankle or the knee. And just do what feels right for you. And if you did extend a leg, take your time, bring whatever movement you like, and then do the same thing on the opposite side. Remember that when you need to rest, you lower the knees to the floor and you rest.
So if you're working opposites, take your time till you feel balanced, and then everyone will return to a child's pose, softening in. Try the variation where the arms reach back. So we did a lot of shoulder work already in practice today. So if you try sweeping the arms back and then really melting the shoulders down towards the floor, really melting forehead into the floor, releasing through the neck. Feel like just a good counter to all of those bigger stretches. Now just surrendering and letting go into that space. Walking the arms forward. And then lifting the head up just enough. And if the knees are together, this would be a really good opportunity to also widen out the knees. So we're practicing a spinal twist here. And with the knees apart, we have a little bit more room for the belly and rib cage to move. So you're gonna slide like thread the needle, right arm under the left, and then settle yourself back down onto the floor, right temple to the floor, right shoulder to the floor. Once you're down there, again, just surrendering. You don't need to do anything, just letting time and breath open up to the right side, ribs, shoulder, and neck. Softening and settling yourself into this twist. And moving very slowly as you begin to unwind, sliding back through. Pause there once you are centered. Take a couple of breaths. Just notice sensations releasing, energy releasing from the spine. Allow that breathing to have to distribute the energy throughout the whole body. Strong, open, flexible body. Strong, open, flexible mind. We want to also be in a state of balance. So now taking the opposite side, scooping the left arm underneath the right, settling left temple down towards the floor. As you wind up, you're going to notice the opposite side now, sensations, gentle sensations in left shoulder and neck, left rib cage. As you settle and surrender into the ground, the earth beneath you. Nice long hold here, so just allow yourself to settle. Just be in the twist, be in this moment, observing natural breath. Softening, really surrendering. Slowly unwinding back to that center position. Once you're centered, just pausing there, observe what happens as you unwind. Observe your energy. Observe the qualities of the mind. Gently rising back up to hands and knees. And one more pose here before we go onto the back. We're going to take, it's your choice. You can take the yin variation, a pigeon pose, or you can be a little bit more engaged and move a little bit more. So I'm going to give you that as your choice depending on how your body is feeling. And I'll explain the differences between the two as you move into the first side. So sliding the right knee towards the right wrist. Now, if you want to move into the yin variation of pigeon, you're going to relax all of your muscles and you're just going to flop forward onto the floor. You're going to put yourself into a place of high sensation. You might need, you want your body down on the floor. You don't want to be lifted up like this because then you're muscularly engaged. So you might need to bend the back knee a little bit and then getting yourself all the way down onto the floor, just rounding through the spine and being in a place of high sensation. If you prefer to stay a little bit more alert and engaged in this pose, it feels very different in the body. And you might have something tucked underneath your hip. You might flex the front foot, stay upright, activating a little bit more into the back bending aspect of this posture. So just think about how do you need a little bit stronger sensation in the muscles and the ability to move a little bit in this pose, or do you want to just sink, flop, surrender into sensation? Once you have decided, you can, if you're in the yin variation, you're going to just completely surrender into it. Try not to move unless you just take a small adjustment to back off or go deeper. If you're in this more yang variation, muscular variation, front foot is actively flexing, you might stay lifted with the chest lifting up before you take that sleeping variation and coming down more towards the floor. Allowing your breath to help be your guide. This can be a very challenging pose, especially in the area of the bent knee hip. As you're going through the various sensations, try to keep the mind just focused or aware of the sensations without creating too much story and using your breath to help manage that. Remember those lessons we learned from the beginning about the calm, smooth breath starts to smooth out the edges of the mind. The stronger, deeper breath energizes, clears, and focuses the mind. So you might just be watching natural breath flowing through, or you might be more active, breathing, pressing the breath into the places that need to release. I want you to count off 10 more breaths, starting from 10, going down to 1. So especially towards the end here, sensation builds, the mind might need a little anchor. So anchor it in the count. Inhaling, counting 10, and exhaling.
Inhale, counting 9, and exhaling and continuing to yourself all the way down to 1. Taking all the time that you need. If you're taking really slow breaths, that will take you longer. You could literally be twice as long depending how deep and slow you're breathing. But when you have reached your count back down to 1, and very slowly taking your time, mindfully exiting the pose. Don't be in a rush. Moving really slowly from this longer hold and pigeon, particularly for the right knee and hip, and then any natural movements. Your body is intelligent. It knows how it wants to move. Don't use the thinking mind. Just allow that innate intelligence of the body to let it move and follow how the energy wants to move and release as you come out of the pose. You might be feeling very relaxed, or you may need something more muscular like down dog. It's completely up to you. Let the energy flow and move your body how it wants to from this deep well of intelligence that comes from the body. Taking all the time that you need. When you feel ready, you'll set up for the opposite side. The left knee will slide forward towards the left wrist, and you'll settle back down using any props that you need, match the variation that you did on the first side for balance. So if you're taking that yin variation, don't worry about the shape of your body. Just fold yourself into a puddle on the floor and make sure that you're feeling sensation in the left hip, maybe even left thigh. And there might be other areas that have sensation, that really staying and riding that edge of sensation. If you're taking the muscular variation, flexing the front foot, you can move it into the back bending variation of the pose, stretching your pigeon chest up to the sky. And any other movements or variations that you like. Once you have settled in and chosen your variation, and for yin, you want it to stay as still as possible, only moving to adjust deeper into sensation if you get release. You may need to back off a little bit if it becomes overwhelming. And then the yang variation, you can move around a little bit, you could adjust, change, anything that you like. Just taking your time, this longer hold and pigeon. If the mind becomes very active, bring more focus to the breath. Long, smooth breaths. Unravel those kinks in the mind. Mind is directly tied into your third chakra center, the ego center. The thinking mind, it wants to control everything. It wants to be in control. It wants to be comfortable. So when you put yourself into situations and yoga poses and life that feel uncomfortable, that's when the mind really wants to start going wild. So see what you can do through breath and intention to continue those smooth, calm breaths. Mind follows body, body follows mind. Directing the mind to that calm state through the slow, deep breathing. The sensation builds, that resistance might build in the mind, and so give it something to do for these last few moments in the pose. And finding your count, inhaling, counting 10, and exhale. Inhaling, counting 9, and exhale, and heading all the way back down to 1. Taking your time. Trying not to be in a rush, completing your count. When you are complete, you'll slowly begin to exit from the pose. Moving really slowly will help to protect your joints. As you press yourself up, you might want to rock a little bit over to the side of the hip and then back. Just allowing a little bit of soft release in the hip and the knee. And then using strengthen the abdominals as you start to slide the knee back. And very slowly, don't think, just let the body move how it wants to move to release. Let the energy that's flowing in the body be your guide, your director. There's no need to hurry or rush in any way. Taking all the time that you need. Once you feel that you have a completion of the energy release, you'll take that deep breath in and cleansing breath out. All right, so if you happen to have a chair or a sofa close by, I'm going to demonstrate using my blocks and my bolster. But a chair or your sofa, I can't see where all of you are, but I'm guessing most of you are in your living rooms. So as long as it's not too far to go, I want you to take a position like legs up the wall, but with the bent knees maybe on the seat of a chair, and then you'll be, slide this forward a little bit, you'll be lying on your back. So this is how we're going to take Shavasana. If you don't have that, that's okay. You can take Shavasana lying on your back. But you might like to, if you don't have a way to lift the legs, to just take maybe just 1 or 2 rounds of dynamic bridge. You can keep the arms on the floor. You might like that anyway. It feels pretty good. Just to reconnect to the strength in the glutes after that big stretching. So you could do that a couple times if that's a good part of your release. If you have the ability to slide a cushion or a blanket under your bottom and put your legs up on the seat of a chair, that's what I'm going to recommend for you, because it's a nice way to get a small inversion in, and it's very refreshing for the legs as well. Allowing whatever space that you've created feel really good in the body as you find your way into your Shavasana. Now, as you're getting settled, I'm going to have a small change of location because there are a lot of birds singing in my backyard.
So taking your time to settle into your pose. I'm going to take this time to move outside. A little bird song in the background for your relaxation. If you have the ability to place something underneath your hips, that's great. If not, then just the lift of the legs will help to bring that good circulation to the legs. Letting your torso feel heavy and released into the floor, back of the head, heavy and released. Allow yourself to completely release from any feeling of effort. Be effortless. As you make your final adjustments, feeling yourself completely comfortable and supported here. I'm going to come back to that river of prana, that energy body that's within. So your physical body is supported and settled now. Guiding awareness to that river of energy, life force, and prana that is flowing through. The breath is slowing down now, so you don't even need to let it ride on the breath. Just let the breath slow down and disappear. But the energy is still present, moving through. Allow yourself to release here, to float. Surrendering, dissolving into something greater. Shavasana. taking a few more moments to stay in your variation of legs up the wall pose. Feeling the sacrum nice and heavy into the floor, legs heavy into their support. Aware of the spine heavy and released, the skull heavy and released into the earth. Feeling the state of surrender that you have created in body, mind, and breath. In the efforts of your practice. And through these efforts, we learn how to be effortless, surrendered, everything unwinding and letting go. Move into that small taste of bliss. Remembering that this bliss, this peace, this stillness is the ground of our being. Bring awareness now to the gentle rise and fall in the belly, aware of the breath that is already present. With that greater focus and attention on the breath, you can watch it. It will naturally lengthen and deepen, starting to gently bring you back, take you back up. Now consciously inviting a bigger inhalation, fill yourself with breath. And an open mouth exhale, sighing out. And give a little wiggle of the toes. And you can slowly bring the legs off of their support and in towards the belly. Very gently rocking side to side before you give a bigger squeeze so you come back to stillness. Knees into the belly, into the chest. Once you come back to center and stillness, you can give yourself a nice big hug. And once again, big full breath. As you exhale out through the mouth, release the legs, feet to the floor. And if you have placed something underneath your lower back, you can either roll off of that or lift and slide it out from underneath, and then rolling to a side, curling up on your side and spending a few moments there. Just enjoy these last few moments curled up into yourself, into that bliss. And pressing your palms into the floor, using the strength of your arms to rise on up to sit. Feeling the sitting bones nice and rooted into the earth, and the crown of the head extending gently, effortlessly up towards the sky. All of that space in between the length of your spine is free, energized, energy flowing up and down the length of your spine. We'll take a breath in together. Exhale, sighing out. Breathing in. Sighing out. And join in with me and the birds into our final song and Om together as you inhale to fill. Bringing hands together at heart center. We'll take a moment of gratitude for this practice that allows us to feel the freedom of space in the body, the peaceful nature, energizing nature of the breath, and how that is deeply connected to our state of mind. As above, so below. As is the body, is the mind. Thank you so much for joining me this morning for practice. So wonderful to be able to connect in this way. Namaste. All right, thank you guys. I hope you were able to hear all the birds in the background. I had to go outside because I could see them through the windows just circulating, going crazy out here. So I thought that would be a nice little serenade for Shavasana. So get outside today, enjoy the blue sky that's now appeared, and I will see you soon. We'll be connecting again Friday morning at 10 for pranayama meditation, so some breathing and meditation. Then there is class Sunday morning, pranayama meditation, and also in the evening for yoga nidra and Wim Hof breath. All right, enjoy. See you soon.